All right, welcome. So let's talk about AI, spicy industry, everything I know, 11 years in the game. No course to sell you. I am heavily filtering and censoring myself for this video. So again, I encourage you to watch this video so you can understand what I'm getting into. But then if you want the unfiltered version where I can go like full spinny unchained, I recommend heading down to spicypreneur.com. Link is in description, link is in bio, link is in comment, pinned. I probably replied to myself saying great job. Anyway, so I actually recorded this video beforehand and I didn't have my bloody mic on, so I'm a little bit pissed. So I'm going to get down to the brass tacks of it quick for you. All right, so first and foremost, with AI, a lot of you are either going to be sitting there with an established spicy business saying to yourself, okay, how can I expand? How can I get rid of the human element of my business, which is undoubtedly the most expensive, especially if you're on a percentage split? Personally, I hate paying humans anything. I like getting money. I love money. It's very simple. This whole AI revolution is fantastic for me, especially with these jailbroken Chinese models. Now, which model? Because we're not talking about the human variety, are we? No, instead, we are talking about what would be a GPT 5.6 Soul, right? That's the ChatGPT model that just came out. Claude Opus 4.0 or 4.8. What is that? Anthropic, like, all this shit. All these bloody models, guys. They're all the bloody same. They're not. They're actually wildly different. But what's the difference here? Because every one of these spicy AI companion apps, these AI companion apps, you know what they do? They're literally operating on Chinese models. I only know of one of them. I only know of one of them that has a custom model, and it's bloody great. But you probably heard of it. It's a $5,000 deposit. Just open an account, right? Because they want you to create volume. They want you to create a lot of stuff right off the gate. And so, yeah, they're great. I was an affiliate for them for a while. Still am in some ways. But the thing about them is these are just Chinese models that are jailbroken. And what's a jailbroken model? Okay, it's again, you remember when we jailbroke our iPhones back in the day? So we could change the wallpaper. Remember when we jailbroke our iPod touches? I'm 31, so I'm a bit older than you, most likely. So when you say to yourself, wow, you couldn't do the backgrounds on iPhones? Nope. And guess what? You cannot do spicy content with all the mainstream AI models out there. It's very simple. You can get risque. See up there, Miami AI? One of my flagship domains, one of my flagship properties. I have a domain portfolio worth tens of millions of dollars. Now, what we were going to do with that is exactly what I'm about to explain to you here. So stay tuned, because I tell you what, this is some important information, because I was going to take that, turn that into some sort of AI influencer duplicator. And of course, Miami.ai is the hottest property in AI domains. And I said to myself, what can I do with this? So I went to a couple of my VC friends. A VC is a venture capitalist, right? These are people who invest in firms, and I don't want their money. We would just take it down the line in order to inflate the value of the company. It's very simple. But I went to them and I said, guys, what's the best model? Like, what are we doing here? I said, I want to do like risque. Like, I want to be able to show like nip, but I don't want like full on, boobage, you know? And they said, Spencer, it's best to actually just stay away from the risque stuff, because from our perspective as investors, like, we're going to have to sell that to the people who give money to our fund. And realistically, it's going to be easier if we have to explain to them that, yeah, the most risque thing they do is like a bikini shot, and you don't have to worry about somebody breaking the guardrails. Now, the guardrails are the lines that keep you on track. It's like the gutter rails that come up when little kids go bowling, right? Again, I'm giving you a lot of background here because I have to, right? So you understand the difference between quality AI companion generators and piss AI companion generators. Because right now, the way it works is every single website is the exact same. Every single model generator is nearly identical, but not every single website has every single model generator. Okay, so I am on a quest right now to save you the money, to save you the effort, to save you the problems that come with this. All right. So, first and foremost, I wish I could list 3 of my favorite sites in descending order, but I cannot do that here. So again, spicypreneur.com, Telegram or email, free to sign up. It really bothers me that I have to filter myself, but that's fine. I do it for you, the people, because I'm a man of the people. Now, where were we? Oh yes, guardrails. Z.ai and Venice.ai. These are probably 2 of the best sites to actually get started with, because it's, quite frankly, they're both very good, but they're both very user friendly. They're both quite affordable. Now Z.AI is straight up Chinese. Venice.ai is just an aggregator, and it takes dozens of models. But Venice.ai flat out says like whether the models are censored or not, and that's a nice touch. You can do video content over there, but it comes down to the quality of your prompt, and that's actually something I want to talk about as well. Because the difference between a poor AI companion generator and an excellent one is the quality of, well, number one, the models they use, but let's push that to the side for a moment. It really comes down to the quality of the prompts that they suggest for you and their auto enhancement of your prompt. Because I tell you what, one thing about you guys is you're terrible with your prompts. Your prompts are absolutely abysmal. So if you guys were to prompt me into existence, for example, you'd say solid 10 out of 10, extremely handsome, ginger with long hair and a beard. Okay, but that's going to give you like a dwarf. You know what I mean? That's just going to give you. It's not going to come out well. But you have to describe it in a way where you capture the sheen of the hair, right? You have to capture, because I'm not just a ginger. My beard is more ginger, but this is more strawberry blonde. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to capture the paisley detail on the cuffs of my shirt, right? This is a seersucker shirt. Like, you got to really, really prompt. Like, I just gave you 5 descriptive elements there. So the blue of my eyes does not necessarily match the blue of my shirt, right? My skin tone is more of a pink than it is like a bright white, excepting certain parts like under my wrist. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, that's a different tone than my face, right? These are all elements that you have to talk about. Observe how I lean in, how I lean out. Do you see how the shadows change, particularly right here around where my hair crests around my face? All of these details are extraordinarily important, and none of you are thinking about them. Again, 11 years in the spicy business. So I definitely know a woman is telling me, why are you like that? Baby, I'm just evil adjacent. Anyway, I said a lot of you guys aren't doing this properly. You're not prompting properly. And I can give you the highest performing vehicle in the world. If you go to the race and you put the car in reverse, that's not going to work. All right. You want to go to a NASCAR event? You're going to drive. You got the best car on the race, right? The best car on the track. You're going to take home the gold. No, you're not going to, because you put the car in reverse because you think it's R for race. That's stupid. All right. Calm down. So this is the reason I'm harping on this so much is because you could easily take photos of your existing human model. You could put it on there and you could say, okay, AI this. No. It's not actually that good. You have to be uber explicit in your details, right? If you pay good money for something, you're going to explicitly state exactly what you want. And that's what you have to do. Like, for example, if you go to a very expensive restaurant, let's say it's a $300 steak you're ordering, and the waiter asks, how would you like that steak? Instead of saying what you want, you say, what does the chef recommend? Not because you're trying to be fancy, but because the chef knows that cut of meat. The restaurant has something that they recommend for that. And like, I myself might say medium well, but if the chef says medium rare, okay, I'm going to take the chef's recommendation, because by the time it leaves the grill at medium rare and gets to me at the table, it might be a little bit above medium rare. It might have cooked a little bit more, because that steak leaves at 100 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in American, like 8 billion Fahrenheit, right? So all these little things you have to take into account, right? How does the model perceive everything? Like, for example, I was dealing with a Chinese model the other day, and I spell color COLOUR, right? I spell it correctly. However, Americans spell it incorrectly. They spell it OR at the end. It's painful. But this Chinese model just absolutely would not listen to my color specifications. And then I changed. It's just the tiny little thing. But if I was an idiot, I would have just thrown that model in the garbage. I would have just thrown that whole experience in the garbage. You can't do that. All right. Now, you might be sitting there and saying, okay, wow, these are really niche tips, Spencer. No, I'm the only one who's giving you these niche ass tips because I am the best. It's funny. I was dating a black girl, and like, her hands like on this side are the same color as my hands, but the rest is not the same color. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So we're talking about all these little niche things you have to do, right? And again, I told you that the difference is all these interfaces are the same. All these models are roughly the same, right? It's how do they enhance your prompt? How do they analyze the images you upload, the content you upload, all right? Before you turn a human into an AI. Because again, if I'm on there, my recommendation to you is this. First and foremost, take your if you have an existing model client. Take your model, take these photos, upload them to the site. And again, guys, all of this is much more explicitly detailed in Spicypreneur. But please, I'm censoring myself here in a way. It's so painful. I'm 10 minutes in. I'm probably going to make this 20 minutes. And I've censored myself so many times. This is what it must have been like to have been the opposing party in that late 1920s Germany. That's how I feel right now. I can't handle it. I can't be censored. You got to be Spenny Unchained. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Spicypreneur.com. But also, it's free. It's free. I don't sell courses because I'm a serious person. Now, the prompt enhancement is the number one most important thing. And you guys want an excellent example of a completely G-rated prompt enhancement? Head over to Canva, canva.com. All right? Type in something abstract, put 2 triangles on the screen, do something, and observe how it observes what you're trying to do, and it tries to preempt it, and suggest it, and guess it, and enhance it. Canva has an absolutely excellent, one moment. Canva has an absolutely excellent system for that. Now, again, I'm going to list the models I prefer and the softwares that I personally use over in Spicypreneur. But again, if you're going on the blue site with AI stuff, and again, I have to say blue site, it's painful. Same blue as my shirt, guys. Same blue as my eyes. If you're going on the blue site with AI, there's good money to be made. But I personally recommend Instagram, TikTok, niching it down. For example, one of the best niches I ever did, and this is dating back years, and the OGs who remember my old videos, you remember when I was always talking about like the mechanic and the infiltrating the Facebook groups. So like, you're a girl and you have a C5 Corvette, right? That's like a 90s Corvette, mid to late 90s Corvette. And, you're posting in these groups, you're posting thirst traps, you're doing all this stuff. Back then, we had to go and buy a C5 Corvette. I had to go spend $20,000 on the biggest piece of shit Corvette you've ever bloody seen. The rag top didn't even work. I had to order another bloody top of the damn thing, a bloody Spider. Horrid car. Absolutely atrocious. I'd rather drive a TVR. And, she got to go there, fly her out, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, bullshit-ass place. And let me tell you, Tuscaloosa's a shithole. Anyway, take the photos, do everything, and then we can convince these groups that we're real. And that's great. But guess what? Boomers are getting one-shotted by AI today. You want a one-shot a boomer? AI. It's actually crazy. But the secret to really one-shotting boomers, because some of them are getting wise to it now, but the secret to really doing it is to make sure that they have a relevant interest. Because if they see a model leaning over a Corvette, particularly an older one, they're going to think, oh yeah, that young lady appreciates cars. Yeah, she gets us. No, you boomer. This is AI. This is AI. Very simply. But you want to give them something to distract from reality, right? You're going to put a bar of gold over here, so that way they ignore, oh God, I was going to say something super political. But you want to put a bar of gold over here, so that way they ignore the burning house over here, It's illusion through distraction. What do these magicians say? I can't remember. They put your attention over here so they don't see what they're doing over here with their sleight of hand. That's effectively what it boils down to, and that's one of the most important things you guys have to remember. And again, I'm doing this completely unscripted, so you can understand why I'm going everywhere, but also I very much dislike censoring myself. Spicypreneur.com. Free to sign up, email, or Telegram. Very, very easy. Now, what else do I want to talk about? I can talk about costs. I can talk about... Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about the differences between these sites, because undoubtedly so many of you guys have seen this. So first and foremost, I want to explain to you that, again, all of these models, they're just jailbroken Chinese models, right? Or some custom models. I've seen some very good custom models, but again, they're $5,000 to $10,000 just to start. It's uber expensive. It's actually crazy expensive. And I don't recommend that off the rip. So what I recommend you do is, first and foremost, always scroll to the very bottom of these sites. Any website you visit, scroll to the very bottom. Look at what we would call the impressum in Europe, but what would we call it? Just the footer. Look at the footer, the legalese, so to say. Look at the legalese down the bottom. make sure whatever you're looking at is not a white label or an imprint or a duplication of something else. And I know because I sell a lot of white labels through tubedemo.com. So I sell a lot of white labels, not for this particular AI thing yet, although by the time you watch this, we probably will have a program, Spicypreneur, or a SaaS, sorry, not a program. I don't, people who sell info, it's like you sell info because you've never done it, right? I can just talk about it at a whim. I deliver more value in the 15 minutes and 22 seconds that we've had here than anyone selling a course ever will. And of course, we have more over at Spicypreneur where I am unfiltered and I can actually be myself because I'm talking here 20 minutes. It's literally like I have handcuffs on my wrist and a taser on my testicles. I don't enjoy it. Now, where were we? We were talking about the model. So I want to just make sure you guys are aware that everyone is just copying everyone right now, and they're just tacking on percentages. They're just adding on whatever to it, increasing your costs exponentially while also decreasing the quality of your outputs because either they have very poor prompt suggestion, very poor prompt enhancement, or they simply don't actually have a database of spicy content to train on. Because at the end of the day, the best models are the best websites to do this, and again, Spicypreneur, we list them, are the ones that have their own models or the ones that actually retain their data. Because again, there's you right here at the spectrum, right? And then there's the Chinese model at the endpoint. You are passing a lot of data in between, right? What's in between? In between is the website, right? So what the website should be doing is taking that data, and I mean, look, there's GDPR, there's a few things, but what, you gonna go to China and complain? Go to China and complain. Go to Russia and complain. There's a reason these sites accept crypto. Go over there and complain. Do it. Because it's just, this is the way of the world right now. Anyway, they should be storing that data, learning from it, training their own model on it, and or at least training their prompt system, refining the existing Chinese model on this data, and then spitting it out to you based on what your prompts are. And what you get is going to be so much better than anything else you're going to get everywhere else. And I personally recommend, like Venice.ai, for example. So many people recommend this. I don't recommend starting with Venice on that one. My problem with Venice is a lot of people go over to Venice AI because they see it has a video model and they see it says uncensored. And then they type in a shitty prompt, like 3 sentences, not even, maybe 2 sentences. It turns out terrible. And then they say, oh, this doesn't work. Or they go and they spend $20,000 on a course, and the course is a PDF of prompts, a list of sites. And again, it won't even be a good list of sites. And then maybe like a small consult or something. And it's like, wow, this is terrible. Okay, this is absolutely brutal. I would suggest like Gossip Goblin, for example, at Gossip Goblin, maybe underscore Goblin, I don't know, on Instagram. This is one of the OG like quality AI slop accounts. It's not slop because it's actually like cinematic quality. It's pretty amazing stuff. But if you were to go and learn what he does, it's basically free. All his info is free. And then you simply take the models and you switch them around to uncensored models, you're going to get exactly what you want. Everybody overcomplicates everything. And maybe I should have put this sauce at the very beginning. But go find somebody who's doing the G-rated version of what you want. Look at someone who's doing that to a level of excellence that you aspire to, that you want to do to. And then take that information, take that knowledge, apply it to an uncensored model and profit. It's very simple. It's very simple. It really is. I'm going to bubble my head. It's very simple. It's not even funny. I'm going to go work at 7-Eleven because I'm very good at that. The head bubble, not the 7-Eleven. But at the end of the day, we're wrapping this video up here. So go over to spicypreneur.com to see this uncensored, unfiltered, because I had to just shit this fucking video out. And I don't like this. I don't like speaking censored. I don't like speaking filtered. Go over to Spicypreneur. It's free. Always will be free. Email or Telegram, sign up. Get access, check out the videos on the back end, check out the guides, check out the ranking system. I got a good ranking system for stuff in the back there. Because I tell you what, I'm using so much of this stuff. I spend thousands of dollars a day in tokens, and I'm running my own models. And that's the thing. It never bloody ends, guys. So head over there, check that out. Like, subscribe, comment as well, please. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next, because I enjoy this stuff. I really do. I really do. Been doing it for 11 years. You can't tell me I don't. And the thing is, well, let me leave you on this closing thought. For those of you that are here, please remember that 5 years ago, AI was not all the rage. 3 years ago, it was becoming. 2 years ago, it became all the rage. Today, it's still all the rage. In 5 years, what are we going to have? A better fucking iPhone? The Orange site, the Hub, all these main sites, everyone's still going to be up there. Because at the end of the day, we're going to see the pendulum is barely moving over to AI. It's going to be moving back, right, to the real experience, the authentic thing. I'm going to leave you on that. That's my closing thought. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your time, guys. I know I delivered value there, and I know you appreciate it.